Welcome back to Our City News. I'm Stephanie Allison. In case you missed it, the biggest storm of 2018 hit yesterday, and now we're braving bitter cold. Fire broke out on Wednesday on the property of Bill and Hillary Clinton in New York. And we have this week's sports report with Matt Carroll. All this and lots more coming up next on Our City News.
And now, the latest news, sports, and weather with Stephanie Allison and the entire Our City News team.
New city councilors will be taking their seats as 2018 gets underway here in Fitchburg. In a ceremony last week at Fitchburg State University, the newly elected were sworn in alongside with the mayor and new school committee members. New Fitchburg councilors include Sam Squalia, Anthony Zarella, Marissa Fleming, and Elizabeth Walsh. One seat on the council still remains to be filled with the departure of Dean Tran to the Massachusetts State House. The Sentinel and Enterprise is reporting Crocker Elementary School students will be moved into two other buildings to continue their classes in the coming weeks. Students are expected to attend classes in these buildings for at least 6 weeks as a contracted company makes repairs to Crocker Elementary School. The school did not reopen after winter break due to a steam pipe burst, which damaged several classrooms and ceiling tiles containing asbestos. Fitchburg Public Schools announced they were exploring the possibility of moving to the St. Anthony School, which closed at the end of last year due to declining enrollment. Superintendent Ravenel said more information on the changes will be expected to be released Friday afternoon. And now let's go over to Matt Carroll with this week's sports report.
Hi, this is Matt Carroll. Today is January 5th, 2018, and this is the FATV Sports Report. We got a lot to report for you today. We'll start with local sports. St. Bernard's boys basketball over break going 1-2, winning against Abbey Kelly 67-51, dropping one to Worcester Tech 67-51, and then losing the Holy Name 79-59. They look to bounce back against Burncoat 6:30, January 9th. We also had the girls in action. They go 0-2 over break, 77-42 against Leominster, and then drop one in Neshoba 60-37. Their next game will be against Whitensville Christian. We now move on to hockey. The boys losing 11-1 against Lowell Catholic, but their next game will be against St. Joe's, 4 p.m. January 6th. You got Fitchburg, the Red Raiders, boys basketball, going 1-2 over break, losing to Shepherd Hill 67-50, but winning against rival Leominster 58-56, and then losing to Neshoba 65-46. The girls were also in action. They lose to rival Leominster 66-29 and lose to Neshoba 39-17, but play tonight against Marlborough at 7 p.m. Hockey, boys 2-2 over break, winning two big ones, one against Assabet 4-3, the final there, and then winning a close one against Hopedale 3-2. They will play Hopedale again January 10th at Hopedale. They are now 3-4-1 on the season. We now move on to Monty Tech boys basketball, losing to Assabet 67-48 over break, but winning against Notre Dame 80-52, big win there. Their next game will be at home against Keith Tech tonight at 7 p.m. The girls lose to Millis over break Wednesday night 52-31, but they will be on the road tonight against Keith Tech 4 p.m. We now move on to Fitchburg State Sports. Men's basketball winning against Thomas College 80-78, but drop one to Brandeis 73-70 on Wednesday night. They look to bounce back on Saturday. Girls basketball postponed last night, but will be playing again January 6th at 11:30 at home. Speaking of Saturday, you have the men's hockey team in action. FATV will have full coverage of that game starting at 4 p.m. The team is now 7-3-1 since break. They are now 3-2-1 in the conference. As we can remember, they had a big win against the number 1 seed Worcester State Lancers. That was a big win because that was Worcester State's only loss of the season. So right now, the men's hockey team looking to stay on the winning track against UMass Dartmouth. Again, FATV will have coverage of that game starting at 4 p.m. We now move on to college football. A lot of big bowl games over break. You got UCF played Auburn in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. UFC wins that 34-27. Notre Dame over LSU 21-17. The Capital One Orange Bowl, Wisconsin 34, Miami 24. The Cotton Bowl, Ohio State over USC 24-7. And a fantastic Fiesta Bowl 35-28. Penn State wins over Washington. You also had the playoff games, the Rose Bowl, the Georgia Bulldogs taking care of Baker Mayfield and the Oklahoma Sooners 54-48 in double overtime. Bama winning easily in the Sugar Bowl 24-6 over the Clemson Tigers, which sets up the national championship on January 8th on Monday with the number 4 seed, the Alabama Crimson Tide, against the number 3 seed, the Georgia Bulldogs. We now move on to pro sports. 4-game win streak for the Celts, beating the Hornets, Nets, Rockets, and Cavs. The last win against the Cavs, 102-88. They will play the Timberwolves tonight. Bruins win 4 out of 5 since break. They are on a 2-game win streak. Their last win over the New York Islanders, 5-1. They are playing great. They're now 22-10-6 on the season. We now move on to the NFL playoffs. That's right. The New England Patriots are the number 1 seed. Again, they get a bye. Pittsburgh with the bye at the number 2. You have the number 3 Jacksonville Jaguars playing the number 6 seed Buffalo Bills on Saturday at 1:05. Sunday at 1:05. They will have the early game that day. You have the 4 seed Kansas City Chiefs playing the Tennessee Titans on Saturday at 4:20. We now move to the NFC first round. Philadelphia with the bye. Minnesota at the 2 seed with the bye. You have the number 3 seed LA Rams taking on the Atlanta Falcons on Sunday at 8:15. And the New Orleans Saints, the number 4 New Orleans Saints, taking on the number 5 seed, the Carolina Panthers, at 4:40 on Saturday. Again, this is Matt Carroll, and that's the FATV Sports Report.
In national news, a small fire broke out on Wednesday in a building on the property of Bill and Hillary Clinton in Chappaqua, New York, a town north of New York City. The fire was in a converted barn used by the Secret Service on the Clinton property. The building is not connected to the main home of the Clintons. The former president was not at home at the time of the blaze. The fire was reported at about 2:50 p.m. at 15 Old House Lane, where the Clintons have lived for nearly 20 years, after buying the estate for $1.7 million back in 1999. Initial reports from the local fire department officials said the fire occurred in a bedroom and has been quickly extinguished. With dangerous low temps expected as the weekend approaches, a warming center will continue to be open at the Salvation Army building on Water Street. Residents looking to get some relief can visit the center at 739 Water Street here in the city. The warming center will be open today, Saturday, and Sunday from noon to 6. The center will be monitored by members of the Salvation Army, Our Father's House, and Fitchburg Emergency Management. For more information, you can call 978-342-3300. Leominster has also set up a warming center for residents at the Emergency Management Building at 37 Carter Street in Leominster. For more information, you can call Leominster Outreach at 978-393-6375.
We'll be right back with more from Our City News on FATV. You're watching Our City News on FATV.
Hello and welcome to FATV, Fitchburg Access Television. Each week we take pride in providing some of the best public access television programs in New England. From FATV live sporting events, city meetings, and school functions, to weekly shows such as Barbara and You, Inside and Discussing Fitchburg, Sports Weekly, Weekly Wellness, and Our City. Our dedicated staff of industry professionals and hard-working volunteers is here each week, working behind the scenes, making it all happen. Besides on air, our programming is also shown live online, where you can see our shows in beautiful high definition. You can also search through our archive of past shows and watch anytime at your leisure. But did you know you can also be part of the action? Become a member of FATV, and you gain access to all the equipment, studio space, and classes that FATV has to offer. You can create your own show, volunteer for exciting live events in our studio, or all around the city in our high-quality mobile broadcast truck. The possibilities are endless. For a small fee, you can become an individual member. Or for a little more, you and a group of friends can become part of a rising trend in the future of television. From sports shows to news shows, civic events, and talk shows, you can be in the driver's seat by directing and even starring in your own production. Also, students are free. FATV staff can assist you by getting your new show up and running with professional industry standard equipment, TV studio time, and private editing suites. All you need are friends to help out, and before you know it, you will be on the air. So if you have a great idea for a TV show and want to share it with the world, stop by 175 Kimball Street, Fitchburg for a free tour of our facility. You can also contact us at 978-343-0834 or email us at info@fatv.org. Fitchburg Access Television, working together for a stronger community.
And our city news cannot repeat itself enough about fire safety during periods of weather like this. The extreme cold oftentimes will bring us to using space heaters in places in the house that aren't usually a problem, but they become a cold spot, and those space heaters present special problems. Fire Chief Roy, in his interview with us and Our City News, told us about the direct vent furnaces, and those direct vent furnaces can create extreme problems if drifting snow or blocked snow from heavy snowfall blocks them, bringing carbon monoxide into the home. Those are a priority. They have to be unblocked, and if you have one of those, please examine it, take a look around so that you don't become a victim of carbon monoxide poisoning. And now back to you in the control room. Stephanie, we're with Chief Kevin Roy, Fitchburg Fire Department. Special situations occur when temperatures get this low into the single digits and even below zero, Chief. People want to supplement their heating sometimes. They have a cold spot in the house, which presents special problems for firefighters.
Yeah, absolutely. Just over the weekend, it's a holiday weekend, we had a couple fires across the state involving space heaters. In most cases, placed too close to combustibles. Serious problem. Electric space heaters, something, finds its way to a curtain or wrapping paper from Christmas gifts or upholstery or anything, stuffed furniture. You always got to be careful with space heaters. Make sure you have 36-inch clearance around the space heater. It shouldn't be plugged in with an extension cord. It should go directly into the outlet on the wall, the electrical outlet. And if you do use an extension cord, make sure the cord is rated with the same wattage as the heater that you're using. So those things are very important.
Heating equipment, appliances, furnaces, carbon monoxide is always an issue, particularly when they're working overtime.
It is. We had a couple cases here during this past weekend again with carbon monoxide. You got to make sure that your heating appliances, wood stove, pellet stoves, are cleaned properly. If you start feeling nauseous, watery eyes, make sure you call us. We'll come meet them. Make sure that the appliances in your home are safe, especially gas appliances like furnaces, hot water tanks, things of that nature. Carbon monoxide. We haven't got a lot of snow yet so far, but some newer systems have venting that go out the side of the house. You have to make sure they stay clear of your inside of the building, so make sure that there's no blockage going outside to vent the appliance properly. Starting your car, leaving it close by a garage, in a garage, absolutely a problem. So make sure when you start your cars to warm them up, they're clear of the house and fumes are not getting into the house or inside the garage.
one of the very special skills that Fitchburg Fire Department has is water rescue. You can't always be sure that lakes and streams are frozen. A special message for the people.
Absolutely. You know, we don't recommend going on ice at all, but certainly people need to know that there's any open water, or you can tell, you step on ice and it starts cracking, it's not safe to be on there. And as a minimum, I know I've got people in my family that do ice fishing. They wait till the ice gets 4 or 5 inches thick to do that, but we recommend, skate on a surface doesn't have 5 or 6 feet of water underneath it. We had a call this morning that we thought someone was in the river. It turned out, luckily, to be a false alarm. But again, we've finished our ice water rescue training last week. We do it up at Coggeshall. We've got some new suits, some new dry suits on board, and our people are all trained in that. But you have to use common sense. Just don't go out on the ice. It's dangerous. Anytime it's anywhere over, knee deep, you shouldn't be out there, in our opinion.
As temperatures get lower, our awareness has to be higher. Now back to you.
With the freezing temperatures outside, it makes sidewalks and driveways treacherous, so we use a whole lot of sand, salt, and ice melt. Glenn Fossa has information on what mix might be right for you.
And just yesterday, during the storm, we talked about ice melting and about preparation of the surfaces during periods of time like this. Bitter cold brings us a little bit of more challenge to treating the surfaces after we've scraped the snow from the asphalt or from the concrete. The favorite, of course, is salt, rock salt, but that gives us the sodium chloride ice melter. That is okay under certain circumstances. It does become very corrosive to concrete surfaces, and it is not very pet friendly. You have other alternatives bringing you surface treatments down to about 10 below 0 Fahrenheit. Magnesium chloride, it's also a chloride product, so you have to be very, very concerned about that if you have pets using that area, or if it's heavily traveled by animals that you want to care for. Calcium chloride, of course, good down to temperatures at 25 below, and with the wind chill today, a very big concern for us because those actual temperatures of the surface are much lower than what we feel or what's on the thermometer. And the ultimate ice melter, albeit a little more expensive, calcium magnesium acetate, available at most pet stores. Our own staff, Stephanie Allison, has significant experience with caring for pets and the attributed chemicals around that use. And now back to you, Steph.
We'll be right back with more from Our City News on FATV.
With me, Gary Withington, the street superintendent. Excellent to see you today, Gary. Over 50,000 tons of sand come in order for you to be prepared each year for this, a lot of work.
Yes, it is. I mean, it takes us probably 2 months to make all that sand, and then we have to haul from our pit to here every day during the winter.
Of course, the guys are busy at work. We can see that happening, the ladies as well. So there's salt, there's sand, and of course, any messages for those. Of course, we have the parking ban, messages for citizens, how they can help Department of Public Works do a better job on the streets.
Yes, just please don't park on the streets at night, and also take your time driving around.
Yeah. And it's great to see you. Of course, this is a holiday season. All of your folks working hard because these are the unsung heroes. We always think about the police and the fire and the EMS, but these guys are putting in long days.
Yeah, we expect to be here from now till sometime about noontime tomorrow. and then we'll be back here on Christmas Day probably.
Our City News, back to you.
This storm, Fitchburg was lucky enough to not have any Unitil outages, but the rest of the area wasn't so lucky. Glenn Fossa has a look at the outage map and more information.
And Our City News is live with Alec O'Meara, Media Relations for Unitil, the primary energy source for Fitchburg. Alec, great success today. No outages yet, and you've got high winds, cold temperatures, all of the ingredients for a bad day.
Yep, it's going to be a blustery day and a blustery weekend so far. Right now, we are all clear. Thankfully, none of the winds for the next couple days, right now at least, are forecasted to be as strong as they were during yesterday's blizzard. But with winds like that, there is the potential for scattered outages. We'll be watching it very closely throughout the weekend, and if something develops, we'll have folks ready to roll.
Your company, of course, has been doing tree clearing for basically years now, since that was a major problem for a lot of electric suppliers in the past. Anything that the viewers and the subscribers to Unitil Energy can do to help out the company have a successful outcome of this?
Well, one thing we always try and remind folks is never assume someone else is reporting your outage for you. If you are without power, don't assume someone else is making that call. Call our customer service line. Go to unitil.com. You can report your outage there as well. We want to make sure we're getting that in the system so we can get someone out there right away. That's the most helpful thing right now.
And just really quickly, our neighbors to the north have not been so lucky in the Concord area. How is the progress going there?
We currently, it's about 3 p.m. right now. We have a single outage going on for about 160 customers up in, I think, Chichester. That's only been active for a couple hours. We cleared from the blizzard around midnight last night, and because we're going to be seeing winds, we'll see outages like that popping up and going down and knocking them down, for the next 48 to 72 hours. So we expect to see scattered stuff basically right through the weekend.
Alec O'Meara from Unitil, thank you so much for joining us on this piece of Our City News.
Sears Holdings, parent company of Sears and Kmart stores, told its employees Thursday that it will be closing more than 100 additional stores this year. The 64 Kmart stores and the 39 Sears stores, all of which are expected to shut down between early March and April. Sears wouldn't say how many of its employees would be impacted by the closings, but did say the majority of the jobs are part-time positions, and eligible associates will receive severances. Liquidation sales will begin as early as January 12th at the closing stores. Online giants Amazon and eBay have cut deep into the traditional retail sales over the last few years.
Always good to be prepared with our automobiles and our vehicles going into the cold weather. Very simple and fairly inexpensive things. Wiper blades always in good repair so that you can clear the snow, clear the ice as the wet and heavy stuff comes our way. Tires, probably one of the most important things you can do. A good examination of your tires and meeting with your local tire dealer to make sure that you have all of the grip that you're going to need this holiday season. As we move towards the back of the vehicle, some of the really cool and very, very inexpensive, effective ways of being prepared for weather is simple cat litter. Sometimes you can buy this for less than $4 a bag. It will help you to give grip. It's biodegradable, and it's not difficult to carry around. Set of highway flares, always a full tank of fuel, and being prepared with maybe a blanket. We all remember the tragedies of 1978 when folks were abandoned and in their cars for some period of time. More tips to come on Our City News as we get ready for winter. Another important winter preparation is our vehicles. Vehicles are very important at this time of year so that we can get in and out when we need to. And preparing your vehicle for winter, always a full tank of fuel in the event that you get stranded or have to spend extra time in that car as you head home or head to work or commute back and forth. When you park the vehicle, put the grill area away from the wind if at all possible, keeping that wind chill away from under the hood. Battery, very important. If it hasn't been properly serviced or it's extremely old, 5 to 7 years of age is sometimes the life expectancy of an automobile battery, maybe has to be replaced or at least checked for its viability. And then, more importantly, those important exhaust fumes, keeping those clear if we're going to let the car run for any period of time, or if we back in and wait for someone while we're parked, making sure that the exhaust is not blocked. Fire safety, automobile safety, and all of this very important on this edition of Our City News.
This week on FATV. Tuesday, 7 p.m., Barbara and You, Yoga for the Brain and Body. Wednesday at 7 p.m., Inside Fitchburg, Wastewater Treatment Plant Tour. Monday at 7 p.m., School Committee Meeting Live. And Tuesday at 6 p.m., Finance Committee Live. Thanks for watching this episode of Our City News. This episode is brought to you by KCMC Management, our local Dunkin' Donuts. If you have a story you'd like us to share, contact our Facebook page or email us at ourcitynewsfitchburg@gmail.com. Here's a friendly reminder that winters in New England may not be for everyone. Stay warm, Fitchburg.